We are live. It is 3:06 Central Standard Time in the United States, 4:06 Eastern Standard Time, 9:06 GMT in the UK. This is the
Hey,
Nomad Tech Project.
done it too
Whoa,
early.
damn it. But we're all jacked up today. Yeah, it's whatever. You know, I
I've done that
can't
on
say
purpose,
Central
by the way.
Standard Time.
I
Apparently,
did do
that's
that
a
on
problem.
purpose.
Oy vey. So it's the Nomad Tech Project. Yeah, you know, it's whatever. It's fine. It's Sunday. It's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I'm sure somewhere in the rest of the world, it's middle of the day. Shit, I think in Japan it's the next day. It might even be Sunday, and I might be Monday.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, so who knows? And whatever, wherever you are and wherever you're doing, thanks for showing up and watching this the show. We do this every Sunday, and sometimes we have a guest. Sometimes we do not have a guest. This week we happen to have a guest. It is Taylor. Tech with Taylor. He's decided to it's been a while since he's been on. I guess he decided that he's going to lose an hour of his life, that he's never going to get back to come on this absolutely travesty of a podcast. So thank you so much, sir. I know you were close because you had some snow, I guess, where you're at that's snowing. I'm glad you made it safe, and we are glad you were on the show. Thanks for stopping on by. We appreciate you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys. Yeah. Yesterday I had no snow, and then woke up and it was covered with snow and still snowing a little bit. So, roads are a little off. So people are driving slower than usual. Not us, but people in front of us, people behind us. It's just crazy, man.
Well, I said, as long as they're behind you, I don't care how slow they go. But everyone's beside you, in front of you. I mean, who knows? And we actually had a little bit of snow here on Saturday morning, so you probably got the weather front, because usually anybody who's to the east of us, usually if you're in like the Ohio, Indiana kind of thing, you get the next day. My colleague who works in Boston, he gets it like a day and a half, 2 days, 2.5 days later. So usually we're kind of like, it snowed a little bit, enough just to kind of cover the ground in the driveway. But then my midday, it went away. So we only had they call that a dusting. I guess that's what they call it. I don't know. So it did not snow enough to really be shovelable, and it didn't cause any problems on the roads. So we were okay with that. Well, all right. So before we get started with the tech stuff, let's go Bears. They play today. And you know what? Here's the thing. They made the playoffs. They don't suck really anymore. They have a good coach, decent quarterback. They may not win the whole thing. They may not even make it to the NFC Championship. That's totally okay. I think Bears fans, now, like, I can wear this stuff in public and not be, like, embarrassed to do so. I don't know if there's a proper equivalent in the UK. I assume if you're like a Tottenham Spurs fan, maybe you probably can't wear that. Like, what, Joe, is there a team that, like in the UK, that universally, if they wear their shirts or their kit, people just go, those guys suck, and they've always sucked, and it's just kind of embarrassing because their fans don't want to wear their kit out in public just because they don't want to be made fun of. Is there a specific team in the UK in the Premier League?
Well, I'm a bit biased. I mean, I would say Tottenham, wouldn't I? Because I'm an Arsenal fan. But
well, I mean, is there a team like in the UK that's been like for the last 30 years just isn't very good? I mean, they're not going to be relegated back to Champions League, but they just every season just are kind of a mess. Their ownership's kind of a mess, and just like.
Well, Jimmy won't like this, but actually, because they used to have many glory days, and they're a massive club, and they're just not performing that great at the moment.
Right. What, Man United?
Yeah,
I was going to say.
And it's been when they had a fair few years now.
Was that Sir Alex Ferguson? Was that the manager?
Yeah. When they've not been the same since he stepped down, if I'm honest, and they're not really competed for the league, and they're a massive club. They're one of the biggest clubs in the world. They should be competing for the league. And sorry, Jimmy, but I'm going to put Man United as that team.
So anyway, but yeah, so the Bears, like, for the last pretty much since like the mid '80s, they had one little spurt back in 2006 when they made the Super Bowl. But other than that, for the last like 35 years, they haven't been very good, and it's kind of a mess. And then, to be honest with you, the ownership, the McCaskies, terrible football family. You know, I know they're the lady Virginia McCaskey, which is whatever. She passed away. They got a good coach. Who knows? I mean, maybe they'll beat the Rams. I think they have the advantage because it's LA. They play when it's really, really warm. It is frigid cold, and then there's a different kind of cold at Soldier Field. There's like blows, the wind blows, and it's like 12 degrees. But Soldier Field is right on Lake Michigan, and the wind comes over the lake, and it literally is frigid. It is fucking cold. And I don't think they did a thing where they said that the Rams, because they play in LA, they don't do well in cold weather. Well, it's going to be cold in Chicago today. So thankfully, they're not playing in LA. If they were playing in LA, I think they'd be toast. But I think they have a chance at Soldier Field. So we'll see. That's the late game right now. The Patriots are playing. I think they're playing the Texans. I think the Texans might actually beat them. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But so 2 games. This is kind of a big deal because they don't have playoffs in the UK. They don't do that apparently, and we do it here in the US. So we have playoffs. So it's a big kind of deal for the next couple of weeks until the Super Bowl.
Taylor, what sport are you into? Are you into any sport? I know it's the tech project, but we go sort of everywhere, you know.
yeah, no, man. Honestly, not really. I mean, I'll watch a basketball game here and there. My nephews play basketball, so I go to their games and stuff like that. So, but I'm not really
not into
I'm more of a tech person than a sports person.
And to make my point, that seems to be kind of the way it goes. A lot of the people who are really super techie people, there's a couple exceptions. I know Adam Matlack's a big sports fan, and a couple other people. And I know Shane's really huge into the Tennessee Titans. He's a big football fan. But for the most part, most of the people who are, Joe's a sports fan. I mean, if you call soccer a sport, you could technically.
Soccer.
Soccer. Yeah, soccer's not a sport. Anyway, it seems like most people who are in the tech space, they aren't, at least if they are big sports fans, they really never talk about it on any of their shows. You really never know. I know Marquez does Ultimate Frisbee or whatever, that is. And so I guess he's probably a sports fan. We just don't hear about it very often. So it's kind of nice to see that. Anyway, so this is the first time in the 4 episodes we've done the show that the Bears are actually in the playoffs. It's kind of a big deal. And they beat the Packers last week, and that's our rival. I just thought it was kind of funny that Packers fans were pissed off because the coach of the Bears was like, basically, fuck the Packers. I hate those guys, whatever. And yet they're all pissed off. And yet a couple of years ago when Aaron Rodgers, who was the quarterback, beat the Bears, and he kept always beating the Bears. It's just the Packers always did. He got on, like, literally on a national televised broadcast and go, basically, I fucking own you. That's basically what he said. He said literally those words. I own the Bears. I fucking own the Bears. And he does. We're like, he's not wrong. He does. But I think it's funny how Packers fans kind of we're okay with that. But then the coach is like, basically, I don't like that team. It's a rivalry. We like to beat those guys. It's like the Spurs and Arsenal, right? It's like we want to beat those guys. It's just kind of a thing. It's not a personal thing. It's a rivalry. The fans who are Tottenham fans don't like Arsenal and vice versa. And I've seen enough British football matches. You think Americans don't hate each other's teams when they literally get violent. It's the chance. It's basically crazy. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. That game is the late game. But pretty much the one person in this chat who isn't British or from the Europe or the UK probably is like, what the fuck is I'm talking about? Basically, when you get to the regular show, the first 10 minutes, just fast forward all that shit and just start at minute 10, right? We'll just go there. If you're watching the show and you're listening to it real time on the audio version, just go to like 9 minutes and then start
just quickly there. I got to make Jimmy happy. After saying that Man United have been so rubbish, they did actually beat Man City and do Arsenal a favour yesterday. They beat them 2-0.
Okay. Man City is. I don't know if they're that good as they used to be. Like last couple, I know they won.
Man City are our main rivals for the Premier League this season. So yeah, they're pretty damn good. They've got Haaland, who's the best striker in the world, arguably. Yeah, they're pretty good. And Man United beat them, which done us all a favour because we only drew yesterday, but that still meant a point up, which was great.
So all that stuff, I have no idea what that means. They do points. Who knows?
Yeah. So anyways. So, Taylor, you get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and guess what you get for a loss?
Well,
nothing.
Yeah. You get a pint, and you get to drown your sorrows with the pint.
Yeah,
so
I like the in sync nothing.
She get fuck all. Oh, man, Ron, dude, fuck. What happened to the Bills yesterday was criminal. First of all, that's not a pick. And second of all, that interference call was horse shit. Horse fucking shit. There should not. Here's the thing. I don't know about you, but maybe this doesn't happen, and we're going to keep going because I'm over 10 minutes. I don't give a shit. So if anybody watched the Bills-Broncos game yesterday, anybody's a Bills fan, not granted. For some reason, Josh Allen did not play well at all. I have no idea what his deal was yesterday. He wasn't really playing well, but is there things that happen in the UK where like, hey Joe, where like the match is going good, but the refs make a call and it's like fucking what? Like basically refs and officials and umpires and all that should never really be the deciding factor in any kind of a 3-hour football match or a football game or a baseball game or whatever. It shouldn't be down to one play where it's legitimately a terrible call. And that interception was total horseshit. That in and of itself was bad. And then the interference call at the end and then basically gave the Broncos a chip shot field goal. I don't like that. Whatever. It's fine. And so we're going to continue to move on. Enough about the sport. We got Taylor on. And we didn't want to waste his time.
So on the audio, skip to 11 minutes.
Yeah, now you're going to skip. Well, yeah, so disregard what I said earlier. If you're now on the audio, go to minute 11. Actually, you know what? Just go to fucking 12 minutes.
Sam, you need to say that at the beginning, though, because we're already at 11.
And, well, you know what? And they're going to hear more sports shit, and they're just going to go just drag the slider another couple of minutes. That's what they're going to hear, right? They're going to go there. You know what? It's fine. You know, this is not a professional fucking show. What do you want me to do?
No, clearly not.
Clearly not. So anyway, let's get to it. We all, if people who aren't paying attention, Taylor is mostly an iOS user.
Yep.
We'll let that go for right now. We'll just keep moving on. Just plow through. Right. That's okay. So basically we have iOS 26, right? We haven't talked to you since that kind of all has happened. And of course, because it's Apple and it's been 20 minutes, they're already on 26.2.2 or whatever horseshit iteration they're on. Because I guess a dozen years of development, I guess iOS can't figure out how to create a stable build. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, how do you like iOS 26? The whole liquid glass, like how do you like it? What's been your experience? Okay, good. Like, so can you talk more about that transition from, I guess, what was the last one? It was 18, 17 or 18. I can't remember. And they jumped to 26.
It was originally supposed to be 19. And then for some reason, and I mean, I kind of like it this way. Instead of saying, okay, iOS 18, Mac OS 25, whatever, like having different numbers for different software, I like having it one simple thing for people to remember. The only thing is having the different software names. But having the same number is just so much easier to understand and to remember.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So it just makes sense. Yeah. But no, I really, really like it. I honestly haven't had many issues at all. So many people say that it's ugly, it's this, it's that. I think it's just people just wanting to talk. And maybe it's me being an iOS fan. And, I honestly, to this day, man, I don't know about you guys and Android, but for me, I still haven't seen one thing to say, okay, I don't like this, in any kind of software. I haven't, maybe it's just me being an Apple fanatic, but man, Well, what about you guys?
There have been some things with iOS that not iOS, but there's some things with Android that I just don't. Some elements I'm just like, I'm not a fan of that. But I think with Material U, I think it's better. I guess my problem is all these OSs now are starting to kind of homogenize a bit. They're starting to kind of converge and basically be essentially the same thing. And that's why. I don't know about Joe, but that's why I so much liked Windows Phone back in the day, because it was completely different than all these. And even if Windows Phone was still a thing, you could tell there would be there would be no way, because they're so completely different. There would be no way to really have those converge. Like they couldn't say, well, they stole a bunch of shit from Apple. They stole a bunch of stuff from Google. It's a completely different way to interface your phone. And I think they would have kept all that if they would have had, like, let's say they just kept Windows 11, right? And they're on that, right? I just think it's so much different with iOS and Android. I think now they're starting to become. There's a lot of feature parity now, and whether you could argue whether it wasn't an iOS thing first and then became an Android thing or vice versa. I would argue that Face ID and Face Unlock was first, I think, in 2015 with Windows Hello.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say anything about that, but we'll just keep moving. But anyway, I mean, it's to have that argument is just kind of a tit for tat. I don't think it really does anything. So for folks who are, I've kind of heard mixed. I will tell you that when it comes to the iOS camp over the last couple of years, I heard a lot more kind of consternation between hardware and software and not really moving the needle as opposed to Android, where it's kind of been a little pedestrian, right? It's been pretty much like, okay, it's pretty similar, you know what I mean? But I've seen a lot of people who are really kind of upset with iOS. Don't like the 26. They don't like the hardware. They're wanting, Apple to get a foldable or flippable or bring something to the table that's just different. I think there's a lot more kind of noise in the iOS camp than Android, because of people in Android land always kind of crap and piss around, but whatever.
Now you just brought something up that I wanted to ask you, Joe. I already know your answer because you really didn't show it off in the favorite tech of the year. But Sam, what are your thoughts on the new foldables, specifically the trifold that just came out? Not that long ago.
Yeah, I guess if well, and to be fair, I know, and this is going to surprise many people on the show. I did not get an advanced copy or to have hands on, so I have to preface my comment with I've never actually touched the device and I haven't used the device in day to day. As a concept, I guess it kind of to me it kind of alleviates one of the problems with foldables is if you have a foldable that is square, right? You're going to get that letterboxing, and it really you don't. If you really look at it, and you take like a Fold 7, and you take a standard slab phone, you put them right together, you're not really getting much screen. Right. I think the trifold kind of alleviates that with the fact that it's wider and it's more canvas, and of course, I mean, if you're in a public place and you kind of go right, you do that thing, and people are going to go, oh, right. I think if Apple comes out with their foldable, and people kind of start to see that is kind of a thing with phones now, I think that becomes less of a kind of a mind-blown thing. The problem I will have, and it's not their fault because people just don't know. Consumers sometimes just aren't aware. I don't want, there are going to be people in the iPhone world, especially in like people who use iPhones that are like the Today Show going, oh, they make these that's foldables have been a thing for like 7 years. Like you need.
Oh, yeah.
So I hope, but the problem is we don't always get that. There are people who don't level set and go, wait a minute, Huawei has made a trifold. They've made foldables. There's Honor. There's flippables. That's not a thing that Apple came up with. They literally waited, which is fine with them. I think that's a smart idea to wait to see if foldables become not only durable enough to be used for folks, but also is it a form factor that people even want to deal with? And I think we're kind of there now. Although I think the foldable for iOS is not where I would have went. I would have went with Flip first. Yeah, that's my thing. But whatever.
That's my question for Taylor. Really, like when the Apple Fold comes out, are you going to get it or no? So what's the reasons? The price or
pricing? Yeah, and honestly, I'd rather have a slab, because, everything's right there. You don't have to open it and, do it. And yeah, I mean, maybe it's because I never tried one before. Maybe if I did try one, I would say something else, but I just don't see, for my use case scenario, I don't see a use case for it,
Yeah.
I just feel like it's not something for me, like if I wanted,
not for everyone, that's for sure.
If I wanted a tablet, I would go get a tablet.
Yeah. Did you have a tablet?
I did, and I sold it because I wasn't using it much. After I got the MacBook, dude, after I got the MacBook, everything changed for me.
Oh, okay. Talk us through that then. Like, what's
because
so special about the MacBook over the iPad, for example? Then, like, because I'm intrigued.
I mean, it's just more usable. At one point there was like more apps like Final Cut Pro and stuff like that. Now you can't really
That's
see
leveled
that.
out a bit now. Yeah, but
yeah. But no, at the time I had a Windows computer.
okay.
And that's why I had gotten the tablet, because I was becoming this Apple fanatic and, using a lot of Apple based apps and stuff like that. And especially becoming a content creator. Believe it or not, like I started 8 years ago. So for like maybe 2-3 years, I was doing everything from my phone, like recording, editing, publishing, everything. So then I'm like, you know what? I need something a little bit bigger to work with, especially making my thumbnails and whatnot. So I decided to get I think at the time, 6th generation iPad. And $3.99 Walmart, whatever. I was working for Walmart at the time, so I used employee discount. Hooray for employee discounts! I'm telling you guys.
Hey man, might as well. It's not like you're crushing salary, so
hey,
take what you
use
can get.
it, couldn't abuse it.
Right, absolutely.
I will say I did abuse it a little bit, but whatever.
Yeah. I'm okay. Nobody's gonna call the feds for you here. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're a safe space.
So I hate to call people out, so I'm not gonna use names. I can tell you guys afterwards, but I've had instances where I decided to get bigger creators, see if they would be willing to come on and talk to me and do a live stream with me. And I was accepted. People were like, yeah, sure, whatever. One person in particular didn't seem too excited, but did it anyway. And that stream completely went to crap. I had an HP desktop at the time. I'm not sure what model it was. I know it was like one of those. It was just a screen, didn't have a tower or anything on it. And it was a couple years old when I started, so it was slowing down a little bit. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna get a new computer anyway. Well, at that point, I was having so many issues that it would crash in the middle of live streams and stuff. Like it could not handle a lot of stuff, and it crashed in the middle of my live stream. The guy, again, not mentioning any names, and now I look back and I say, you know what, whatever, it is what it is. But he went like in hysterics. He was like, this is completely unprofessional, this, that, the other, just laughing at the whole thing. And I didn't know what was going on because I was, behind the scenes trying to look for a solution to what, So I ended up coming back on my phone because I couldn't get access to my computer. And I seen him laughing, and I'm like, oh, maybe something's going on in the chat, whatever. My friends who were on the chat actually screen recorded the whole thing. And I'm just like, yeah, that's one person I would never want to talk to again. Like, you know what? It just whatever. So I actually went to Best Buy and I said, I'm an upcoming creator. I need something reliable that's, not going to break the bank. Of course, I had to be in front of a freaking MacBook saying this. And he's like, well, I mean, I don't work for Apple, but you're in front of the best right now. I'm like, I know that, but my bank account doesn't. My bank account's crying right now, just thinking about the fact if I should pull the plug or not. So he actually got me a little bit of a discount. He was a very nice guy. Actually, said that he recognized me because he lived in my area and has seen me around. So I think that's really why I got the discount. But yeah,
he's a good salesman.
Yeah. Seriously.
I mean, they are renowned to be very good for content creation. That's like it's a given that.
At the end of the day, man, like whatever works for you, you know. If I could go back, I wouldn't. not for a long shot.
Oh, interesting. Let's dive into that, Sam. Hey. So, okay, what would you have picked if you went back?
I would still go with MacBook.
Yeah,
dude, my mom. Yeah. Okay, my mom has a Windows computer for work. Looking at that, and then coming back and looking at my MacBook screen, night and day difference. I'm just like, I can't mess with Windows. I can't look at it. It just, the whole thing bothers me. You know, I feel like it looks cheap. You know?
What do you mean in terms of the Windows OS, or do you mean the products?
Windows OS, in my opinion.
The way Windows works. Oh, okay. I mean, yeah. I think it's got a lot better. It's got quite a bit more similar to Mac OS actually. Recently.
And maybe it's, you know, different computer screens and stuff. Maybe if, you know, I don't know.
With Windows, you can get real high end and you can get real low end. Like Android, actually, it's very similar in that respect. You can get a cheap one, and you can base your whole thoughts on Windows on that really cheap laptop, for example.
And maybe I have this. Maybe I have this image of, you know, the things that I've used and not experienced something better. But, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I have nothing against people who like it and whatnot. I'm not, I don't. But you got to go for what works for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny you say whatever works. Someone watching Ted Salmon and does a podcast called Whatever Works. So when you said that earlier, that just popped in my head.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And so and I'm totally okay with that. The only thing I would kind of snicker about is anybody who's buying any Apple product that talks about cost efficiency. I was like, man, let's pump all the brakes. Hey, again, buy what you want. You know, I mean, I'm okay. But I walked into an Apple store and I looked at MacBooks, I looked at all that stuff, and I'm like, there is no way anybody who's buying a Mac is budget conscious, because you can't be, because there is no such thing as a budget conscious. I mean, some of the MacBook, even the lowest end MacBook that I could find, or the lowest end iMac I could find, or whatever, was significantly higher than any possible Windows machine I could find. Again, and then when I went into the store, I'm like, look, I'm looking at these specs. I'm trying to figure like what's like comparably, right? Like, tell me what this is as far as what Windows, and the poor girl at the store, she's never owned a Windows computer. I know she hasn't. Windows is gross. Windows is yucky. Android's yucky. Apple's the thing. And I get it. I said, well, in order for you to make me make the change to a MacBook, I need to know what the comparable price and size, what I need to buy, so I can at least laterally kind of get performance to price point, right? I'm okay with I realize I'm in an Apple store, so I'm going to have to pay more than a Windows computer. That's already sunk. I already know that. Right. However, this is what I currently have. What's the Mac equivalent to that? And she just goes, well, I don't know, but if you want the Mac that works, you're going to get this one. It's like $2,000. I'm like, Like, I'm not fucking buying a $2,000 computer when I can get one for $1,000 that does the same damn thing. Mm-hmm. Again, unless you can convince me that this thing does the thing. I've had Windows computers since DOS 3.1, right? I've had, right, I'm old school, right? And I get it. And again, I also realize that Windows does suck. It's not the perfect OS. It crashes
not always.
a lot. Right. No, I mean, but Windows 98 was pretty stable, right? And you know, Windows 2000, Windows XP, really great. Windows 8, right? I get it. It's kind of one of those things, right? And so, and that's the thing I have where
no software is perfect.
No, I mean, that's the problem I've had. Like I've gone sometimes, and I have a Costco membership. And so sometimes I'm just standing there, my wife's getting something, so I'm just standing over. When we first walk in, that's where all the tech stuff is, like the TVs and all that shit. Yeah. So when you walk in, it's like I'm standing there, I'm like looking around, and we were looking for my daughter. She had to get a small computer for school, but she's just doing basic work. Like she doesn't really need anything crazy, right? So I'm looking around, and I'm going, boy, it'd be nice if I could find a $400 MacBook. Yeah. That would just be for school. That didn't have all the crushing levels of awesome. That still had a pretty good screen, had Mac OS, the whole 9 yards. But I'm like, and I think if they really want to dislodge, well, two things will have to happen. They have to really kind of go to developers, and developers don't use Macs, because what developers will do is they'll take a Mac and they'll throw a Linux distro on it. They're just using Linux on it. So they're not using Macs for any kind of development. That's just not happening. Nobody develops on a Mac. The second thing is there is nothing in the Mac space that is in that budget space. Like they just ignore it. They're like, well, if you want a Mac, you got to spend $1,200. I'm like, well, if kids are going to school, maybe they don't need a $1,200 MacBook. Maybe if they can find a $500 MacBook that just handles browsing and gets them to where they need to be, and then that's cool. Or they don't have to buy a 7-year-old MacBook that's been handed down from their brother that went to graduate school, right? I mean, it's like I would like to go there and find a $500 to $600 MacBook that was it could be throttled down. Doesn't have to have all the A chips and doesn't have to be the best screen, but that's where I think if you're going to get people to move off of a Windows machine for school and then use that, I think that's the play. And Apple just seems to be completely against doing that for whatever.
Can I give a hot take?
Yeah.
My hot take is best value for money, and the best one to go for is Mac Mini.
Sure. Does Mac Mini? Well, is that the little thing, the puck thing, or whatever?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Okay. So does it come on a screen?
No, that's the whole point.
That's the whole point. Yeah, you got to get a monitor, which is fine. You can use a TV or whatever. You can get $100 monitor. It's fine. But here's the thing. To Taylor's point, it's the aesthetics of Apple. Do you really want to look at that bullshit on a $100 screen? Because when I was there and I looked at the Mac Mini. She's like, you can get the Mac Mini. And I said, okay, well, can I hook that up to like any LG? No, you probably want to hook it up to an Apple machine screen, because then it does all the flippy flops and the I'm like,
you're talking to an Apple salesperson. Like they're not gonna say yes to you getting another screen.
Exactly.
You can link up other screens very well.
Where are the budget Apple screens? Oh, there's no such thing. If you're gonna get this Mac Mini, here's the screen. It's got all the high-end stuff. I'm like,
Mac Mini is great. I think it's a great product.
I think so too. And I think the MacBooks are great. I think all iOS is great. But for fuck's sakes, can we not try to just gouge me for every fucking dollar we can find? And all you're doing is you're laying on the fact that it's a bougie ass thing, and you're basically going, people can't really afford it, but they got to buy the Apple logo. So you're going to push them a couple $100 into the red when they know they don't want to spend that money. And even then they're like, but I got it and I love it. Great. But man, they do not. They're like, and then they tell you, well, if you want to be the basic person, yeah, you can go across the hall and you can go to Best Buy and buy a Windows computer, but you'll be fucking fail. And you'll be laughed at by your friends. And you're going to walk into school and you're going to have the Surface, whatever. You're going to have the HP, whatever, the Dell, whatever. And all your friends are going to make fucking fun of you because you're too poor to buy a MacBook. I'm telling you, don't even tell me that that's not the narrative that's been pushed. That is
not exactly so much in the UK.
And that drives me crazy. Oh, it drives me nuts. I love Macs. I think they're great. But when I look at the price performance for what I'm trying to do, like Taylor says, it's like, I'm not getting a foldable because it doesn't work for me. It just isn't, it doesn't match my.
Can I say something?
Yeah. So
I think, and especially nowadays, I think you get what you pay for. If you want something that's decent, that's, doesn't have all the things. Okay, right in the middle. But if you want something professional, you need something, powerful, you're gonna have to pay that overprice. And that's not just with Apple. That's with any company.
I disagree. I think we're in a place now in tech where the mid-range, the upper mid-range things for most things are in a really good place now. And I think like there's like my mic's not an expensive mic and it does the job pretty decent.
I mean, it's actually pretty decent.
I think we're in a place with tech now where you don't have to spend the big bucks. I disagree. No. I think I know where you're coming from. I know why you're saying that, especially as an Apple fan. But
no,
I disagree.
I agree with Taylor. But to the problem is, whenever I've gone into an Apple store, first of all, why is there always 700 fucking people in an Apple store? I'm not kidding you though. I mean,
I'll tell you why, Sam. I'll tell you why.
They're not all buying stuff. That's why, and one day when I was,
they do offer good services. I give them that. They do offer really good services.
I understand that, and I get that. So if you're buying a thing, you're buying a phone, you're buying a MacBook or a tablet, totally get it. But you can buy that anywhere, right? You can buy an Apple product anywhere that sells tech, right? You can get it at a fucking Target for all that. You know what I mean? So.
But there's people, Sam, in there going, "How do I do this?" And then people teach them how to use their phone.
Well, they offer they offer like obviously service, so like your Apple Care and all, which is great. I love that. You can take it to a physical store. I still think that is, when it comes to retail, that's an underrated thing, and I think that Apple has cornered the market on that, and I think that's fantastic. But then I ask people, like, what are you here for? And they're like, well, I have an appointment with a genius person because I don't know how to use my tablet, or I don't know how to use my MacBook. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But whenever I go in there, there's always a bunch of people in there. I get it. Okay, that's fine. I think what happens is to Taylor's point, I get that. But when I look at the people in an Apple store, nobody in there is a fucking professional. 0 people are. None of those people are. They're those are about as end user as you get. Like, trust me, I've seen people go, those people can't even browse the internet, much less they're not crushing content. They're not making videos. They're not doing shit. I would say the 95%, and isn't that what Apple told us? You don't have to be a fucking tech dork. You don't have to be a coder. You don't have to know CLI or command line or SFTP. None of that shit. You can just click a thing, and the thing happens. Right? You don't even have to know how a computer works. You just click the fucking thing and the thing works, right? That's what they've always sold. So nobody in there in that store when I was in there, and I've been in an Apple store a couple of times because I've just, because there used to be a Microsoft store with no people in it. Because nobody in Microsoft, everybody who buys a Windows computer knows exactly what the fuck they're looking for. I want this, and this. Maybe they want to look at the Surface, fuck around with the hub. That's cool. They had a Surface hub, which was kind of sweet, right? But for the most part, that's why Microsoft stores are gone, because when people buy a Windows computer, they don't really they know how Windows works. Apple's kind of nebulous. Like, I don't really, even me, I'm like, what is the proper Windows to app equivalent? Like, it's not. They're just buy the most thing and all the things will work. And buy them. Okay, that's cool. But what I'm saying is the people in that store, those aren't professional users. They're not they're not developers. Those are regular folks like my parents and my grandparents and everybody else. Is like, I just want a nice computer that works, and it works great. And I love Apple for that. But I mean, I don't think I think Taylor is the outlier. I don't think most people walk in there going, "Hey, I'm a professional creator. I need something that kicks ass." Well, fucking stupid. Duh. If you're a publicist, you're gonna get a Mac, because every publication, every magazine's done on a Mac. Hell, when I worked at 15 years ago, when I worked at the St. Louis Science Center and St. Louis Art Museum, and all their publication, Power Mac G5s, all of them, they're within a fucking Windows computer within 9,000 yards of that, because they're like, hey, if you're content creating, if you're making publications or doing audio or video, nobody's rocking a Windows computer because they suck. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in it. But for the most part, your end user, they don't need that level of power and sophistication. They could, and that's fine. And so I think it's great. I think what Apple's done is really amazing. They basically told people, like, you got to spend the couple extra dollars to do that. And I'm like, that's cool. So I'm just glad that Taylor found a machine, and he's like, and now I'm like, I can't go back to Windows computer because it doesn't work for me. I don't like the aesthetics. I think I had so many frustrations with HP and Dell. hey, you know what? And I do think for content creation, I think it's superior. I really do. It's just if you're trying to be a creator on a budget, it has some of those pricing, especially when you get the Macs, they sting a little bit, and that's all. And but hopefully they last a long time because I mean, if you can buy a computer and you don't have to replace it every 2 or 3 years, I guess that's the problem. So hopefully, when did you buy that computer, Taylor? Have you had it? Has that been recently, or was that a while ago that you?
No, that was 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, so that's
actually no, maybe more because
okay,
maybe like 6-7 years ago because it was the start of my channel. Like I said, I only started editing like for about a year, not even maybe. And then I got the MacBook, and that was that. Like,
hell, if you buy it and you can keep it for 7 or 8 years, then it's money. Then you may have at the time you may have been budget kind of crunch, but I mean, if you think about it overall, it's probably been a pretty good purchase.
And at the time, that was an Intel MacBook.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
And now, to say that I loved it, and it was the best computer, the guy was like, "Oh, this is gonna last you 7-8 years, plus whatever." Last me 3, and I was editing. Thank God I wasn't live streaming. I was editing a video, and the screen just went blank on me. It was still on because whenever I pressed the button, I could hear
the fan running. It's on.
Fan running, and that little beep of things working. And I'm like, okay, everything's thing, but why isn't my screen working? What the hell's going on? So I took it to the Best Buy that I got it, and I said, I've had this for like 2-3 years. I'm a heavy user, not gonna lie. I'm kind of, moderate editor. I was still using iMovie at the time. And I'm like, but I need something that, like, I can't go without having a computer now. Because A, I'm used to it, and B, now I'm doing, a lot of things. I had so many files on that computer. But thankfully everything was backed up to the cloud. So when I got this one, I have an M2 MacBook Pro now. And I mean, this thing is, to this day, thank God, everything works perfectly. It doesn't sound, people would make fun of it because when I was live streaming for a while, the fans would go crazy and you could actually hear it on the live stream. And it really sounded like the goddamn thing was gonna fucking take off and make a hole in my ceiling. And this one is, you can barely hear it, and I really like it. So I mean, again, like I said, it's what people like, it's what works for them, and that's that. You know what I mean?
No, totally get it. Yeah, I get you. Like I said, have you ever considered, like with me, I did used to have a gaming laptop, and then I decided when I had a Lenovo Y520, it was actually pretty okay. Didn't do bad. But I realized that I really wasn't I wasn't gaming much on the road. I was always at home kind of thing. So I was like, well, so I actually bought a Legion desktop. Would you ever consider getting like instead of a laptop, if you're going to do serious like workstation kind of work, would you ever consider maybe getting not a laptop but more of a desktop solution that's more it's not as mobile, but it would have a lot more horsepower for what you're trying to do and longevity for what you're trying to do?
No, I thought about that, but after having that desktop, I was like, you know what, I kind of prefer a laptop anyway, so that way I can take it on the go, because I, like sometimes I'll be editing a video and want to, continue the edit. Let's say I'm going to my sister's house or whatever. I can just take my computer and continue what I'm doing over there and stuff like that. And when it comes to that as well, I was actually looking for an editor. People actually make fun of me because I'm using CapCut as my editor right now. And
I think, Joe, is that what you got? Was that what you're using as a CapCut? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I do it on mobile, mate. So I mean, people say to me I need to get something different.
Again, it's what works for you,
in
my opinion. Okay. With CapCut, you it's all based on like the account. So you sign into your account anywhere you are, mobile, desktop, you got the file, you can save it to the cloud, and then if you're starting on one like if you're starting on the computer and you want to finish it on your phone, you can do that, vice versa. And that's the thing. I really wish that there was more editors like that. Like, I would love to have like Final Cut Pro, for example. I would love to have that thing where I can start on one device and end on the other. Because even like when I'm editing and stuff, and I want to, instead of airdropping stuff or sending stuff to my computer, I want to put stuff from my phone onto that timeline, and I can do that.
Yeah, we was talking about web apps, weren't we, before we started? And I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of being able to do that. Do something on your phone and then just go onto a laptop or desktop and carry on where you left off. I'm a big fan of that. So yeah, I feel that.
Right. Dude, there needs to be more of that, I think. I think it would help so many people.
Yeah. And cross-platform. I want to see it cross-platform, not just Windows, not just Mac. I want to see it cross-platform. Do it all, man.
Yes.
That's why I love Google, because Google are good on everything.
Yeah, for sure. Now, when it comes to Android, I'm not gonna say that I don't like them all. I would personally use a Google Pixel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
why specifically? Is there a reason why Pixel? Is it because it's Google's product? Is it you had exposure with it? What about the Pixel would kind of draw you than other OEMs?
I mean, I've watched a lot of their events and stuff. I have actually owned a Google Pixel 4 that my friend Benji, I don't know how much you remember of the people in that group chat.
Yeah.
Actually, I was thinking that you had left, Sam. It was Joe that left.
Yeah,
Joe, we're getting you back on there. But yeah, Benji and another friend of mine that lives in Ireland, Connor, we had a podcast together and we talked about it and whatnot. And they actually chipped in and bought me a Pixel 4 and sent it to my house and said, you have to use this for so long, and get used to it. And which I did. So I started, taking pictures and whatnot, and I just loved how Google processes their pictures and stuff. Especially their portrait mode. I thought that was like crazy good. And I mean, even more so now with the Google Pixel 9 lineup and the Fold, I think they're really good, and I love the software on it. I think it's very smooth. I think it looks really nice, works really well. I haven't really used a Samsung in a little bit, so I can't really say how that's doing. But for me, I think for my experience, my use case scenario, I think Google is the way to go for me, especially because their products somewhat work together and whatnot in a similar way of Apple. So I think that's what's got me too is how both of those ecosystems are kind of similar. And
well, it's interesting with the Pixel 10 series. They've now launched like AirDrop, haven't they? I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting feature that they've added. And I think that's what's coming. There's going to be more cross-platform things coming. That's the future of tech, I think.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and you know, and how do you feel about where is Apple using Gemini for their AI modeling and they're basically Siri like
no, but they're going to.
And so I'm curious.
And they need to.
Well, and I'm curious why.
Yes,
for a company like them, they couldn't get Siri to really be that. Like, what I'm curious what your thoughts were. Like, do you think that he didn't have enough developers? Did they just realize it's just probably more cost effective to go with Siri or with the Gemini? Or like,
that's my opinion. Left it too late.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious what Taylor, like, why? How do you feel about that? Basically, that essentially Apple's AI backend is going to essentially be Google's Gemini.
It's not Apple AI; it's Apple Intelligence.
Well, yeah, whatever. Well, they got to have a little differentiation. I get it. It's their AI. It's basically whatever, right?
Yeah, man.
So I'm curious. Like, you know, I know Windows had Cortana, and they kind of dipped out years ago because it just couldn't make it work, right? And now you understand.
God.
But for if they would have let it cook and actually worked on some good development, they could have get it to work. But of course, like Google, Microsoft decides, well, it's not working exactly 100% right out of the box good, so we're just going to shit can it. Like, gotta let it work a little bit, right? So I get it, but I'm curious what you think about that. Like, whenever they do that, would you rather it be an old Apple-grown home AI intelligence model? Or do you like, hey, you know what? If it works and you got ChatGPT or you got Copilot or you've got Gemini, whatever you've got, like whatever is the thing, are you okay with that being on the back end? Essentially, it's really not an Apple homegrown product. It's really a Google home or Microsoft or whatever, right?
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, would I like to see Apple do something like that? Absolutely. But if they can get help and get themselves in the right direction, then hey, it is what it is, But I also I'm wondering like how much they can do, and what they're willing to do, in terms of like not becoming like not getting out of that walled garden, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, it seems like unless Apple has decided to pull a 180, I think once you have decided you're going to go ahead and see the high ground and basically use Gemini, Apple's pretty much telling their users we're not developing our own Apple intelligence model. We're not going to do it because they're already behind. And you're not going to, and when it comes to that kind of the way the development works with these modeling, you're not going to catch up. Yeah, you're just going to lose. And so I think Apple's finally just like, okay, on this specific situation, we realize we're just not going to win this one, and we're just.
And for many years, Apple was ahead. I don't know what the heck happened.
I'm not sure either. I guess that's up to speculation for folks like us to kind of talk about. I'm not sure either. But definitely, between and even with Microsoft, I thought they were going to have, with Copilot. And Copilot's a pretty robust. I would say that I use Gemini more than anything. It's the same thing with anything else. You have AWS and you have Azure, right? You have Google Cloud for services, right? And it seems like AWS is kind of the thing. Right. And then, but I know a lot of people who work in companies that they're on Microsoft Azure. They're transitioning their on-prem data centers to Azure. And I guess it works okay. Like I said, I think, I don't know what happened to Apple. I thought they were leading in that kind of space. And I guess it either caught up to them or whatever. They realized, you know what, we don't really give a shit. We're going to focus on hardware. We're going to focus on iOS. And Mac OS, and we're just whatever. And if you aren't kind of holding on to the surfboard, it's definitely going to take you out to sea. And by the time you look up, like, holy crap, we're way behind. Well, let's just go ahead and just let's use Gemini as a model. That's fine. Google and
I've always
Apple can do it. And that's fine.
Yeah, I've always wondered what Steve Jobs would do. Like, is he excuse me, is he happy? Is he, like, what's he thinking? Seeing all this going on, like, and would he like say, "All right, guys, like, we gotta, step it up a notch and do
I'll tell you
something."
one thing: he wouldn't like that bloody Apple Pocket.
Oh, he probably would.
I
don't know.
Or maybe he would.
I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things where, it's
Joe.
a shame. I really wish he was still alive, because that's always going to be a source of debate. Like, what would WWSDJ do, right? What would Steve Jobs do, right? I don't know what Steve Jobs do. He's not here, so unfortunately, he's not here to direct the company. And I know he would have had different approaches to things. I could tell you one thing: I don't think he would have anticipated Apple being a $1 trillion valuated company when he was first starting. I think that would have caught him off guard.
Sure.
But as far as like, he definitely had a lot more handle in the development and the product ideas and stuff like that. And he probably wouldn't come up with something like the Apple Pocket. He probably wouldn't come up with something, but he may have gotten the little charging pad thing. Maybe he would have got that to work, because he would have shoved it into market. I don't know. Like, who knows? I mean, I'm not sure.
Would he have approved of all the stuff that's going on, especially now Apple having to adopt USB-C in their products?
Well, he had nothing to do with that. That was the European Union finally regulating.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying,
and because I will tell you right now, had the EU not done that, Apple would still be using Lightning. For sure. And to be fair, I have no problem with Lightning connectors if they wouldn't fail every 7 months. So that's my problem. My wife's finally she has her iPhone 16 and it has USB-C. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it's so much better when we're in a car, because I've got the charger. I don't have to carry 2 different charging standards. If I don't need it for whatever reason, my phone's always charged, by the way. And hers is not. It's not because it's an iPhone. It's because I use. Right? She just uses it more. And I'm not gonna lie, like, it's nice to have where I can give her a charger. She plugs it in and it's good. Like, I don't have to worry about a charging standard. That's a hassle. I'm sorry. I just think that's.
I had to buy that car charger from TikTok that you see that has Lightning and USB-C. With those retractable ones,
right?
Because my parents have
older iPhones, I guess.
Yeah, they have. Well, my dad has my old 12 Pro still. I'm like trying to get him to upgrade it, but
right. And like I said, my thing has always been
like just throwing it out the window and saying, bro."
What's the charging standard on an iMac or a MacBook? It's USB-C. So fucking, so fucking Apple. I mean, come on, man. Like, that's the one thing I'm not gonna see, and I'm not gonna see the ground to Apple people, because I'm sorry, no argument can make that make sense. And now, if they were Lightning across their entire product line,
and that's the thing,
respect it. But if you're just gonna go, everything's USB-C except your phones, which has the most engagement as far as their tech, you're being full of shit. And I'm glad the European Union broke their asses.
And I wonder.
They needed that a little bit, and I get it. So now it's and the problem is you got Dad with the iPhone 12, or me. I've got my bank phone, right? It's a 13. I still got to carry 2 chargers because it's still Lightning. And then I asked my boss. I said, "Hey, you think he could, like, dude? We're not replacing that fucking thing until it completely dies. Like, it goes and it's dead." Yeah. So
that's what my
dad said. Yeah, the 13's nice. It's nice for work, but I don't use it very often.
Yeah.
But it's.
I was trying to convince my parents, and I still am. Like, the way we do it is we do the Apple trade-ins.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
And so
is that through Apple stores and Apple?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No carriers. I'm okay with that too.
Listen, bro. We had our fair share of things with carriers. Where actually, we were paying, and I'm not even kidding you, like $700 for 3 people.
Oh, Okay, that's a little steep. I don't know why. I guess the devices and lines and phone. Okay, that seems a little crazy, but okay.
Dude, every month it would go higher and higher and higher. And my dad was just like, fuck this shit.
It's okay. They're old. They should get consumer cellular anyway, because that's what all the old people get. I'm just kidding.
So we're
it's kind of like it's like the Velcro shoes, right? That's what it is. It's like the Velcro shoes of carriers. Like when you get older and they're like, "Hey, you have AARP, you should get consumer cellular." Like, yeah, actually, I think actually Mint would probably be. I used Mint for a little while. For just if you bring your own device and you throw a SIM in for the data plans and the coverage, I think it was fairly good actually. I was pretty much a fan of Mint, honestly.
Yeah, we have Cricket now.
Cricket.
They're like AT&T towers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And $30 a month for it's $30 for one line for 3 people, $90. And you get unlimited everything. You know, with Verizon, we actually for a while had to put like a block because this whole thing with the start of smartphones and stuff like that, you know, we weren't used to having to close the applications and, you know, conserve data and stuff like that. So we would have apps running in the background using data and then, you know, have a bill of like, I don't know,
$1 billion. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
It's like, what? Hey, I'm not trying to run NASA here. Why is my bill $700? Like, I don't know what the hell's happening right now. Why don't you stop fucking running shit in the background and jacking up my bill, you dicks?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So then we had to put a block and, you know, say, okay, let's get the text message and say that, you know, you're at this point of your bill and you have to be careful, whatever. Now we don't have to worry about that. Like, you know, now it's unlimited, so it's just like whatever. And I mean, yeah, we still get those text messages, but basically they're just saying, you know, you passed that limit. You're still unlimited, but it's gonna go a little slower, which whatever.
Right.
But
well, and I mean, I will tell you that I think those limits suck just generally because you figure across the spectrum of your entire users across your carrier, you're gonna have people that are older that aren't gonna crush a bunch of data, and then they're not gonna use shit. Just charge them one flat free, and then you got a bunch of people who are younger people who are crushing videos and everything like that. So it's gonna balance out. I think it's starting to slant more with heavier data users, right? So I guess you got to do something. And then you can make hard caps and it's unlimited, but you throttle the piss out of it and tell people, hey, man, use Wi-Fi because your shit sucks.
Maybe somebody can explain this one to me because back then, okay, they would say close all your apps to conserve battery, to, you know, save data, whatever. Now it seems to be the exact opposite. The more you close your apps, the more you know, do whatever, you're spending, you're wasting the battery, you're wasting this, you're wasting that. When did it switch?
Like I don't know when it would switched, but I will tell you it's kind of like with cars, right? So back when you had cars in the 80s and 90s, right? You were 3,000 mile oil changes, maybe 5,000 if you were pushing, right? Because the oils weren't as good, but now, I mean, I've got this Mini. You know what the manufacturer? It's 10,000 mile oil changes. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that as an older guy who's had cars that you had to do it very often. But the manufacturer recommends because the engines are a lot more tolerant. The oils are fully synthetic. They're a lot better, and they're like, no. The manufacturer recommends 10,000 mile oil changes. I'm like, for a person that's used to 3,000 and 5,000 mile oil changes, that's kind of insane, right? And they're like, yeah, I know, but it's just the way it is now, right? And so I think with apps, we're kind of, and here's the thing, or it could be like milk. Is milk good for you? I don't really know. Should you put a baby on its side, its back, its front, its top? Nobody knows. It changes every 5 fucking years, right? They're like, put a baby on its back because they don't have SIDS. Okay, put a baby on its side or on its front, or it's like, which one is it? We don't really know. Just I think it's with the apps. I think it kind of can be different with, Apple and iOS.
Yeah.
I don't think, as a general rule, I don't run a lot of apps generally. I don't know about you, but when I'm like, I'm just so in the habit, maybe it's because of old school Android, right? I'm so used to just like, I use an app, I'm done with the app, I force close it, right? Or I swipe up. Like, I don't have like this carousel. Like a lot of people have like 5 and 6 and 8 and 10 apps running at the same time. I'm like, I guess if it's better for your phone, maybe it's better. But I'm just so used to doing it, I can't get out of the habit of just going. I maybe run 3 or 4. I go, and I'm done. Right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm an idiot. It's possibly. I'm an old school Android user. I'm like, we can't run these apps because it's going to take all the data and then all the RAM's going to. Like, I got 16 gigs of RAM or 12. I'm like, I think it's fine. And even tell you, it's good to keep apps running. And it's okay to have 5 or 6 going. It's okay. It's not a big deal. But I'm just so
I had a nothing phone, Sam. When I had a nothing phone, I said in the community, it's annoying that you can't just close all apps.
Right, you can't like close all or force close.
You have to like scroll all the way across. And they said actually it's done like that on purpose because it's good not to close all your apps and it's better to keep them open in RAM. I was like, okay. There was other reasons they said, but I can't remember them now. But yeah, they gave a few reasons as to why that's like that. And yeah, because apparently it's more power intensive to start apps up. Than it is. Yeah. So your ones that you use regularly, you're best off having them in RAM ready. I was like, okay. But I've got OCD, so I'm like, close. Like that.
Well, and again, like I said, it's just because old school Android back in the the gingerbread and stuff. It was
advised.
And then you had like all these like antivirus and scanners and managers, and like it's so goofy now compared to how it was years and years ago. But like to your point, Taylor, it's like now they tell you, just fucking have 30 open and just run them all. Actually, if you have every app, just start them all up when you first start up the phone and keep them running constantly. Who gives a shit, right? It's better if you're better. Like, okay, I don't know if that's really a thing, but and so I tried. Like one day I was like, I'm gonna run all my apps and I'm not gonna close anything. And at one point I had like 6 or 7 open, and I'm like, like, it kind of reminds me of that Key and Peele episode where he's just like sweating because she's like, I went to the computer and I saw your browser history. It's clear every day. He's like sweating, right? I'm like, I got 6 apps open. I'm like, I can't just leave these open. It's like, it's no reason I can. It's like, why am I'm conditioned to be an app closer. That's what I am. Right. I'm that guy. I don't know, whatever. And okay, it's all good. So anyway, well, I mean, yeah, it's again like, and I think to your point, Taylor, I think it's pretty much like should be the theme of the show is, hey, you can use something for a while and you find something that works and it just like clicks, right? The ecosystems clicks, the phones just work, you're used to it. And and like I said, I've been on the fence for years about Windows Phone, and I like the way that happens. Now Microsoft in general can fuck right off because they piss me off for all the years, but I will still always like Windows Phone. But again, like I said, once you find something that works, and it's okay to go out there and be a champion of that and kind of talk about it. The only thing I always tell people is don't be so closed-minded to the fact that with the fact like you made the like Google, like their services are pretty good. Like I would consider using those kind of things. Like, again, I think it's okay to keep an open mind just because you never know what that next thing is going to be that makes you go, holy crap. Like you may come back to a device or a phone. What the fuck are you doing? Like, I can't read it sideways and I don't know why you're putting it. It's like, what are we doing here? Oh, next paper. Okay, it's next paper. It was sideways, so I'm having to turn my goddamn head. Is that the DCL next paper? I haven't even I haven't even seen that. Oh, see that shit. I'm in, dude. Why can't I get one of those?
This is why we like Android.
Let me guess. They don't sell them in the US because fucking America sucks.
No, man. TCL, surely they do.
I've never seen a next paper anywhere in the US.
But TCL is like massive in the US, right?
Yeah,
I don't know, but I keep hearing you guys talk about you and and oh, by the way, check him out. Joe does another show because he's cheating on me. No, he's actually going to a better show. That's what he's doing. That's fine. Hey, you know what? If he kind of decides to go to a more quality show and then still get his feet wet with this stupid shit. That's fine. But go check them out. Phone Show Chat. They're talking about all these next papers. I'm like, and I'm listening to the show and trying to, like, in my mind, visualize what that looked like. And that's the first time I'd seen it do the thing. I'm like, dude, that's so slick.
The
dude.
screen, see, it had like a frosted look. That's not a screen protector.
Man. Just go.
That's the actual screen. It's,
right, and then
just so soft.
Right. Yeah. It's just so cool. And then the fact that you can go to the next paper, the e-ink, it's just so slick, man. I love that.
Yeah. And it's a physical switch on the side here. Look, it's a switch modes.
There's a switch.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
that's cool. And see, if you're a tailor and you just like, I just want to use my iPhone because it's cool, and then I get it. Dang,
I've always liked.
Oh yeah, the monochrome.
Glossy.
Yeah, I like mono.
I've always liked the glossy look from, like, iOS.
I kind of like the matte. I see both, but I know I kind of like the matte look sometimes. But and again, it's personal preference, and that's what I like about it. And Taylor, that's why we have you come on. We give you a little bit of the business because we know you love the iOSs, and it's okay. We're just giving you a little bit of a trouble, right? We love you. It's all good.
Just like I like to give my people trouble, dude. I was doing the podcast that you guys are on, TA Tech News Weekly, and man, now that I've switched my name, I have no idea what to call the podcast anymore. Even if I should do that podcast, honestly, I kind of like dipped off of it because I couldn't.
Naming's hard. Branding is hard. Naming is hard. The show itself is great. And I don't remember how we came up with this. I think we asked somebody in the chat, or we put out the community. And then when I did the Across the Podcast, that was a great name, but it wasn't tech centric. So it kind of was like, it was a cool name, but it really didn't allude to the fact that it was a tech show. So it was kind of like, So this is good. This is nice. We got Nomad Tech Project. I like it. And you know what? It's getting a name's hard. And don't ask us because we don't have a fucking clue. I mean, clearly.
Well, I'd say, Taylor, what I would say, right, is don't bother chasing so-called big YouTubers, mate. Just have your mates on there. Just do your tech stuff with your mates. Don't bother. Like, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, you've got that group. Use that group.
Well, you know what it was like. I've seen a lot of people growing and getting to know people. Like, again, that one person that I spoke about. Like, I loved how he had people, and that's what actually got me to do my podcast and get new people and people who are smaller than I was to actually get going and whatnot. Like he did a segment for a while where he would have small creators and get to know them and whatnot, and I like that, and I thought that was a really cool thing that he did, and that's why I asked him. And I guess that's how you get to know people. Like, you only know what they only know what we let them see,
right? What's presented to you. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Like I said, we've learned that we've tried to get other guests, and one of the things where me and Joe decided if we have a guest, that's cool. We have people come on. But I will tell you, just in our experience and talking to other people, it doesn't really move your channel's metrics any positive or negative. People will watch the show for that creator or that guest, and then they won't watch again. And that's fine. And so what we decided was bringing folks on, having an open chat discussion, and really not worried about and like I said, last week you couldn't make it. We weren't going like, what the fuck? We have a show scheduled. You need to be here. Fuck you. Like, we're like, hey man, I wouldn't even want to be in this shit anyway. I don't know why you're showing up, right? And so we realized that we have to be flexible with folks, that we're not exactly the Joe Rogan experience, right? We have to understand that. Do your thing, and that's okay. And I'm looking at
the StreamYard thing. I'm looking at the StreamYard thing right now. I haven't used StreamYard in God knows how long.
We're stuck to it, unfortunately. Yeah.
But dude, when did they add the ability to go live on your own channel?
Yeah, it's been. I will tell you this much. I don't know. I've tried to think about Restream because we used to have a basic plan. It was like, I think it was like $10 a month, and then all of a sudden they just upgrade everybody to this like $50. Well, it's like $44.99. And I'm like,
a month.
Man, it's a month.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. It's $50.
That's why I left
StreamYard. Whatever. It's like a year. It was like a year and a half ago. Anyway, but I will tell you, over the last like 6 months, Yeah. It's like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
we need to change, man. That's too much.
Well, there's either that or don't use it at all because there is no, they eliminated a basic plan. I like it, but I'll tell you, over the last 6 months, every time I log in, like there's like, hey, we did vertical video now. Hey, we're doing this. Hey, we're having like teleprompt. I will tell you, I mean, yeah, I know that's like 44 quid a month, but I will tell you, they keep adding shit all the time to this app. Like it's, and I don't know about Restream and everything else. Maybe it's free, but to your point, Taylor, I'm glad you said that because I think it's a prescient point is you kind of get what you pay for. And if you pay for a free plan or a $10 a month plan, but I will tell you, once they upgraded it, it'd be different if they upgraded it and never gave you shit. I mean, I would have dropped this thing like a bad habit, right? But they're adding stuff like crazy lately in the last 6 months. Yeah, development should be.
I just looked at this and I'm just like, wait, I could have gone live and like, you know, because I don't know if you guys got my text message about.
Yeah, I saw it, but I didn't put two and two together again.
Yeah,
you're dealing with a moron, right? So I don't know anything about. I think there was a way to do it, but I've never known how to do it. Like I've been on other.
Restream does it as well.
So there's other ones that I just don't know how to set it up because I've never been asked.
So I'm not even kidding you guys. I'm using another software to actually get the screen recording.
Okay.
When I could have actually just freaking did this. Okay.
Yeah. Well, now you know. You come back on. Now you know it's there because I think it's there, it's probably.
I hope you guys don't mind if I use bits and pieces for videos.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's fine.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Sam. When we was with the Tech Disruptors, I put it on Nomad Tech Project at the same time.
See, he did, no, I don't. And remember, Joe did it. I didn't do it because I'm like, I don't know.
When you jump in, it gives you an option to share with your channel. So I logged it into Nomad Tech Project and bang.
See, there you go. So now you know, and then you don't have to go through a third-party software because we're going to use StreamYard. I mean, I don't like paying almost 50 quid, but I'll tell you right now.
Sam, I need to set up a direct debit thing. I didn't know you was paying that a month. I really didn't.
It changed about a year and a half ago. Yeah. It's fine. I mean, I'm not worried about it.
I'm not back paying.
No, we're not back. No, don't do that. Like I said, you just keep your pretty face on this goddamn show, and then that pays for all of it, right? It's
pretty old.
Well, you know what? Hey, are you high? Are you looking at me? I'm not exactly a spring chicken over here. It's okay.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, I'm old. I mean, whatever. I'm like, I was
doing an
Cold War. I was still alive when the Cold War was going on. That tells you how old I am, right?
I think the best looking person over here is Joe.
There you go.
And you pointed to Sam.
And you pointed to me. That's fine. You know
I don't know. On my side, it's.
You know,
it's mirrored. I learned that the hard way.
At the end of the day, it's okay. I have a voice for radio. It's all good. Or a face for radio. It's fine. So, anyways, but I know you got to.
our own way.
Yeah, it's all good. So I know you got to kind of get out of here. We're at like 1:17 on the clock, so we need to get out of here and get ready for the Bears tonight. I don't even check. Let's see what's the damage on the other game. I'm just going to check while we're on the show because I really don't care.
That's fair enough, mate.
I think
we do need to wrap up. To be fair.
Ooh, it's 21-13 Patriots. About 3 minutes left in the third, so it's a close game. I might go pick over it. If you're not watching this show, go check out the Tech Disruptors. But if you want to watch some football and watch the Tech Disruptors, you can multitask.
You can do both. Yeah.
Do both. Do that and watch the football. Then let's go Bears. And we want to thank Taylor for coming on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for inviting me.
It's always an open invite. You just let us know when your schedule dictates, and we would more than love to have you come on. We can talk anything else because I have some feeling 26 is going to be pretty busy with all the techies stuffy going on with all the foldables and the flippables and the iOSs and the Googles. It might be a pretty good day. So we might have a lot to chat about here in the
definitely, man.
This for the year.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Oh, of course. Anytime. My pleasure. And thank you so much, Joe. Anything final thoughts before we wrap up for the day?
Yep. So Jimmy has alluded to it in the chat, but I already planned to say this. It's his birthday coming up.
Thursday.
Yeah. So happy birthday to Jimmy on Thursday. I think he's
24, 23, 31. I don't have an idea. It's okay. Don't say it.
Don't
say it. He's a younger chap. He's a younger dude, but a very nice man. Jimmy is one of our ride or die guys. Super great. He's been on the show. We need to get him on again pretty soon. But anyway, like I said, so again, Thank you for Taylor for coming on. Thanks for Joe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go check out the phone show chat fortnightly, whatever the fuck that means. I have no idea. Still haven't figured it out. That's a British thing. You'll figure it out. Just Google it. That's fine. And then for myself and for Taylor and for Joe, thanks for coming on the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe. Let's go Bears. Enjoy your tech. Don't be a dick, right? Just be a nice human. Okay? Yeah, they're using an iPhone. Probably not the smartest person in the world. Hey, let them go.
Oh,
that's fine. Oh, I'm just kidding. Or you can have a Windows phone like me and be like, what are you doing?
Windows phone.
2015 called, they want their fucking phone back, right? It's like, whatever. I just can't let it go. Right? It's like, nothing works, but I still just get nostalgic and go, well, the scrolling works. That's about it. That's fine. Whatever. It's cool. So, and enjoy the tech that you love. Be enthusiastic. Tell all your friends to come onto the show. Go check out Taylor. We'll put his stream and any details in the chat. We'll get it from him. And we'll put those in the show notes as well, so you can go check out Taylor. Don't forget to be a good human. And thanks, Taylor, for coming on. We appreciate you as always, sir.
Thank you, guys.
All right. For myself and for Joe, we're out of here. See you next Sunday on the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe. Again, Love you guys. Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.